Hello, my name is Ethan Russell, and today I'll be giving a presentation on the Houthi missile attacks in the Red Sea as per a requirement for the policy briefing in U.S. foreign policy at Bloomsburg University. The Red Sea is a vital waterway for global trade, and it now has become a hotspot for missile attacks by Yemen's Houthi rebels. This presentation will explore the rise of these attacks, their impact, and the ongoing regional tensions they fuel. On the right, there is an image of the Red Sea region. Yemen is located there towards the bottom, and the waterway surrounding it is a vital importance of global interest for shipping around the world. The Houthis are a complex group with a very long history in Yemen. Their rise to power and control of northern Yemen has significantly impacted the ongoing Yemeni civil war. Their alliance with Iran adds another layer of complexity to this regional conflict. So who are the Houthis? They're an armed Islamist group that control most parts of Yemen, including the capital Sana'a, and some of the western and northern areas close to Saudi Arabia. The Houthis emerged in the 1990s, but they rose to prominence in 2014 when the group rebelled against Yemen's government, causing it to step down in the beginning of a crippling humanitarian crisis. The Houthis spent years fighting a Saudi-led military coalition while also being supported by Iran, and they still are today. The Houthi missile attacks, which began in December of 2023, marked a significant escalation in Houthi tactics. Targeting regional powers like Saudi Arabia and Israel demonstrates their willingness to engage in a wider conflict. The use of missiles and drones raises concerns about the increasing sophistication of Houthi weaponry and the potential for unintended consequences. So the missile attacks on international global shipping began in December of 2023. At first, the Houthis were launching ballistic missiles into Israel and Saudi Arabia, for whom they see as adversaries in the region. And they began using with ballistic missiles and drones, and now they're shifting to disrupting maritime traffic in the Red Sea region, and this also includes disrupting the internet cables at the bottom of the Red Sea region as well. So we're seeing an escalation in tactics, not just for global shipping, but for other regional countries in the area. With the Houthi attacks increasing, there has been an increase of other issues as well. This includes loss of life. Several attacks have resulted in civilian casualties in the region. There's a disruption of trade within the region. Red Sea shipping is responsible for 20% of global container shipping. And also, it's 12 to 15% of global trade. It's crucial for items such as oil and goods. And with this dramatically decreasing, shipping times have increased and price for shipping has increased, as now ships have to travel around the southern Horn of Africa to come around, instead of being able to go through the Red Sea region and through the Suez Canal. So this has also increased tensions in the region. Attacks have heightened tensions for global trade, as global trade is very competitive. And it has also worsened the humanitarian crisis in the region. Conflict in Yemen has worsened because of these missile attacks and international responses to these attacks. There is also now worry about an ecological impact, with the image on the right being the Ruby Mar, which has contained fertilizer, and a Houthi ballistic missile struck the Ruby Mar, and now there is concern for an ecological disaster with the fertilizer being spilled into the water, and that dampens like fisheries and other lives, and it now creates a humanitarian issue for food supply in the region if the ecological disaster worsens to the point where they cannot produce food and get fish as part of their diet there. So it's an important thing to think about when the ecological impact of the region and the global trade is increasing and prices are increasing for people. And there's also the growing humanitarian crisis in Yemen because of these attacks. Now that we have discussed the root causes and the impact of the attacks, what are the responses to Houthi missile attacks? So the U.S. and its allies have deployed warships in the region. This is under the codename of Operation Prosperity Guardian. The U.S. has conducted airstrikes against Houthi installations within Yemen. So Operation Prosperity Guardian for the U.S. has deployed a U.S. carrier strike group in the region, and then were able to do multiple operations in the area while also defending other ships for passage through the Red Sea region. So it's kind of like an attack and defense strategy. So the purpose is to promote international cooperation to deter attacks from Houthis on international shipping, much like the U.S. has taken a firm stance of and begun leading that charge. The UN calls for a ceasefire in Yemen to help remedy the humanitarian crisis in the area and also the effects on global shipping, and increased international pressure on Houthis to draw down their attacks. It's important for them to draw down their attacks so that these attacks on innocent lives and on shipping stop and that global trade can get back to being as efficient as it was before. So the international community has condemned the Houthi attacks and called for an end to the violence, and the U.S. deployment of warships aims to deter further attacks and protect vital shipping lanes. And the UN continues to push for a ceasefire in Yemen to address the root cause of the conflict. So from a foreign policy standpoint, the road ahead is to support UN-led peace talks. So increasing diplomatic efforts to support UN-led peace talks between the Yemeni government and the Houthis. Continued international pressure is needed to deter further Houthi attacks. Renewing maritime traffic is essential to bringing back efficiency behind global practices. And we also need to understand the post-conflict reconstruction. So we need to develop a comprehensive plan for post-conflict reconstruction in Yemen to rebuild infrastructure and support economic recovery. This is also in tangent with the humanitarian crisis over there. So if we could find a way to resolve the issue, whether it be, supplying them with more aid or different items to try to reduce the risk of a further humanitarian crisis that could stem into another regional conflict, that would be the most important thing. But the situation in the Red Sea remains volatile, and finding a peaceful solution to the Yemeni civil war is essential for long-term stability in the region. Continued international pressure is necessary to compel the Houthis to stop their attacks and begin engaging in peace talks. Ensuring the safety of maritime traffic in the Red Sea requires international cooperation and a de-escalation of tensions. Resolving the underlying conflict in Yemen is key to achieving long-term stability in the Red Sea. Supporting UN-led peace talks offers the best chance for a negotiated settlement, and addressing the root causes of the war is essential to prevent future conflict. And then again, developing the post-conflict reconstruction plan demonstrates international commitment to rebuilding Yemen and finding a solution to the issues that are currently happening.